Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's YP Gang, YP Nation, YP Boxing, and I'm gonna be giving y'all a quick breakdown for the best prop bet for every single fight on UFC Vegas 95. First, we're starting up with Alencar versus Luciano. If you saw their Contender Series fight, you know that Luciano's a dangerous striker, and Alencar pretty much has no striking. She's gonna go out there and look to grapple, look to take her down and get significant control time, but she doesn't have the best cardio, so. In that fight, Luciano was very close to stopping the fight. I think this time it's going to be a little different. I think she'll be able to just outstrike her. You know what I mean? Just keep distance from her and really expose her poor striking and force her to have to grapple. But I don't think she'll be that successful. We saw later on in the fight, she got tired. She wasn't able to get good takedown attempts. And I think that's going to be even more exposed now that we know that that's really all that Alencar has to offer. And you could honestly make the argument that she won the fight off damage in the first fight. I did the calculations, and if she did get the decision in that fight, she would have won. She would have scored like 90 points. So I think however this fight plays out, even if she were to have a similar performance and get out-grappled, she can still get damage. And in this era of MMA, damage trumps all. She can still steal a decision in this matchup. Me personally, I think she gets a second-round knockout, but I'm open to a decision win. So give me her over 75.5 fantasy points. Next fight, we got Jarno Aaron's going up against Youssef Zalal. Youssef Zalal, very good grappler, very good all-around guy. He showed that in his last performance versus, I think it was Billy Quarantillo. It was either Billy Quarantillo or Bill Algio. I think it's Billy Q. Went out there I think he was initially an underdog, turned to a favorite, and gave up a pretty good performance. In this matchup, I have him getting under 3.5 takedowns, but not for a bad reason. Some people are going to say, oh, under 3.5 takedowns, so you don't think he's going to get takedowns? No, I think Youssef Zalal, if he gets him down one time, I don't see Jarno Aaron's getting up. We saw him get taken down by a striker in William Gomi, and taken down by Stephen Wynn, and taken down by another guy. I'm forgetting his name, but he gets taken down in a lot of these fights. He has poor takedown defense. I think 28%, if my memory is serving me right. He gets taken down a lot, and he really doesn't get up. These guys are getting significant control time on him. I saw 8 minutes, 5 minutes. If Zalal gets him down to the ground, he's a better grappler than all those guys. He should keep him on the ground. And in my opinion, I think he gets the sub in round 2. So that might just be 2 takedowns. But even if it goes to a decision, I could see 3. And, there's a potential that Jarno could knock him out, or that Youssef Zalal sticks to a striking heavy game plan and just outstrikes him because I think he's the better striker and just MMA fighter overall. So give me Zalal to get under 3.5 takedowns in that matchup. Next fight, we have Williams, or let me unselect that real quick. All right, bet. We got Carl Williams going up against Honata Diniz. In this matchup, I got under 40.5 significant strikes for Carl Williams. We're going to go to this. Oh, shoot. Okay. We're going to go to the stats for this one. We got, how do I unselect this? This is me looking at statistics. Let me hide the bar here. All right, bet. So, pretty much for that, I'll pull it up anyways. All right. So, for this one, it shows the stats for his fight with Tafa, and then you can go down, you can look at the Bresky fight. Now, the pattern you're seeing, if you do look, go back into the stats, in the matchup with Sherman, he chose to just strike predominantly. He got 1 takedown, didn't get too much control time, but pretty much predominantly struck with Sherman. If he strikes a lot in this matchup, he's going to get knocked out. So he'll go under in that scenario. He'll get knocked out 1-2 rounds. So he won't even be able to get to 70 strikes. Chase Sherman's not that powerful of a puncher, but he throws a lot of shots. They were going back and forth, okay? Now, if he does get him down to the ground, he's more of a position over submission or damage guy. He can land shots. But as we saw in the Tafa fight and in the Bresky fight, honestly, he really didn't have that much control, so he tries to focus on that. And he doesn't land too much strikes as we see. He's gone under 40 and 38, respectively. So in those 2 matchups, we saw that he went under. I just think there's so many scenarios where he goes under. Either he gets finished or he just tries to control him and lay on him, and he doesn't get to that number of strikes. So give me the under 40.5 significant strikes there. I really like that play. That's probably like the lock. If you wanted to pair that up with something else on this card that you feel good about, I would fully advise you go with Williams. Now, next one, we got Carol Hossa going up against Pandy Kianzad. I got Carol Hossa under 74.5 significant strikes. For the stats, you see that she had that big outlier fight with Aldana. That was fight of the year. She kind of got out of character there. They were throwing a lot of strikes in that matchup. I don't see that happening against Pandy Kianzad. Maybe breaks out into that, but normally Carol Hossa, she's not throwing that much punches. She's more of like a pot shot type of girl, like throwing one, not really throwing the combo that she was throwing in that fight. She likes a leg kick here and there. But I think in this matchup where she can really separate herself from Pandy Kianzad is taking her down. We saw a last-second takedown in the fight with, I'm forgetting who it was against. I'm going straight off the dome. But I watched the tape for all these guys. But she did get a takedown in one of her recent fights. It was at the end of the fight. No, it was against Yana Santos, actually. She got a takedown at the end of that fight after pretty much, it was a low-volume fight. It wasn't too crazy. But she's shown that wrinkle in the grappling. We've seen Pandy Kianzad get taken down, now grappled by Holly Holm. I think Carol Hossa can put a similar game plan to her, push her back against the cage, and do something similar to that. I don't think she has to rely on the striking too much in here. So she could, though, and even if she does, I don't see her throwing or landing 75 significant strikes. So give me the under there. Next fight, we have Christos Grigoro going up against, is that his name? I don't know. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. Charalampos Gregorio. I don't know where I got Christos. Going up against Toshiomi Kazama. I watched tape for all these fights, man. Let me tell you, like, the Toshiomi Kazama, man, this guy is a very bad fighter, you know. Just it's sad to see, you know, like, you know, you see these fighters come into the UFC. There's just a level difference in Toshiomi Kazama. Like, he's just not that good. I mean, the boxing is very wild. He looks like a very immature fighter, like walking forward, darting into range. The hands are up, but the punches are still getting through. It's kind of like blind defense, you know. It's like I don't know what he's doing. It's just not really good. He does not pass the eye test whatsoever. He has grappling. He showed that in his Road to UFC fight, the win that he had. But it's, even that grappling, it was just like he was just kind of holding on to him. Not crazy high-level grappling at all. And most of the fight took place in the clinch where they were just like hugging each other. It was almost like a wrestling match. That's just not high-level MMA at all. Gregorio in this matchup is the better grappler. But Gregorio carries a ton of power, and he's the far better striker on the feet. I think this fight ends within the first minute. If this goes like any of his other fights, if Charalampos has watched tape on Kazama, I think it ends early, and I think Charalampos knocks him out brutally, just the same way he knocked out Cameron Smotherman on Contender Series. Give me the under on 4 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. This line is implying that this fight's gonna go long, and I could see it. I mean, if Charalampos doesn't get an early knockout, then the fight could play out. Maybe it could play out close, and maybe they get into a grappling exchanges, and Gregorio is able to go over or under this, but it gets close. But I can't even see this fight getting out of the first round if Charalampos fights the way he did on Contender Series and how he's, you know, fought in the past. Obviously, he's a grappler, but he's heavy-handed, and he has a superior boxing in this matchup against a guy who has poor defense and gets knocked out a ton. So give me Gregorio to get under 4 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. Next fight, we have Chelsea Chandler going up against Yana Santos. I got her over 3 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. Here's the thing. With Yana Santos, she is going to try to dart in range. Either she's going to try to stay at kicking range or she's going to try to dart in range and try to get control time against the cage. She doesn't like really staying in the boxing range, and that's where Chelsea Chandler thrives. I was thinking about doing over 42.5 significant strikes. I didn't want to go there, though. I like her over 3 minutes and 30 minutes of control time. 3 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. I might have got Pandy Kianzad and Yana Santos confused. Maybe. Because I think Holly Holm is the one who took down and controlled Yana Santos for a large majority of that fight. Pretty much just held her there. You know, and there was no resistance. She couldn't really get up. And we know Chelsea Chandler has a good wrestling game. She was able to take down and control Josie and Nunes. Chelsea Chandler, she missed weight. I think she missed weight by like 5 pounds. So she's going to be the way bigger girl in this matchup. She's huge in there. Yana Santos can't really match her strength for strength. And when they really get up against each other, up against the cage, she's going to feel that strength, and she's going to will, you know. And I think the takedowns are going to get easier and easier as the fight goes on. And she's not going to even want to get in those grappling exchanges. And Chandler will just dominate, you know, put her up against, or maybe, I don't know. You know, if fighters get uncomfortable, they start to go back to what they're used to. So maybe she'll still dart into range and try to get in those grappling exchanges because that's what she's done her entire career. We'll see. But yeah, a lot of scenarios where this goes over. I could see an entire round of control time for Chelsea Chandler. This could cash in the first round, second round, third round. This is a fight that's probably going to go the distance, so a lot of time for this to cash. Give me Chelsea Chandler over 3 minutes and 30 seconds of control time in that spot. We're almost down to the last 4 fights. I'll try to speed this up. Next fight, we got Kwang Lee going up against Chris Gutierrez. Kwang Lee is from where I'm from, so shout out to the Minnesota. I'm excited to see all that he can offer. You know, he's Vietnamese. A lot of Vietnamese people in Minnesota that are going to be rooting for him and cheering for him, watching him on the UFC level, inspired by what he's doing. It sucks. My official prediction is Chris Gutierrez by decision. I think Kwang Lee's a tough fighter. I expect him to go out there and, you know, put his heart on his sleeve. You know, let it all out there, pressure Chris Gutierrez. But I see this fight playing out similar to the Alatonghae Lee fight that Chris Gutierrez had. Alatonghae Lee was another very powerful guy, another guy who had power in the right hand, another guy who has wrestling chops, didn't really use it in that fight. I could see that. You know, I think Kwang Wei Lee. Sorry, what did I say? Why did I say Kwang Wei Lee? I'm so sorry. I did not mean to say that. I know he's not Chinese. Okay, Wei Li Zhang. I don't know. I think I got that mixed up. Kwang Lee has grappling, but it's not. It's pretty mid. It's decent. It's not that good. In the last couple of fights, I think we've seen the wrinkles of striking, and I think we've seen the wrinkles of something that we could expound upon. You know, the grappling is there, but I was not too impressed with it. With the BJJ, he literally had someone in a rear naked choke and couldn't get it, and they had him in a clear triangle, couldn't get it. That's not something that a high BJJ practitioner is doing. So I wasn't too impressed there, but he has hands for sure. He has power, and he has some nice kicks. So that's something that Kwang Hae Lee. What else? Okay, I need to stop. That's something that Kwang Lee can improve upon and to help him get to the next level. In this matchup, though, I think Chris Gutierrez is too much for him. I think the feints are a little too much for him. I think Chris Gutierrez is just a high-level striker, and I think that's going to give Kwang Lee a lot of problems. I think he's going to be stuck kind of just in awe of what Chris Gutierrez is doing, the movement, the feints, the style, you know, the flair that he brings to the fight. And I think Chris Gutierrez is going to cruise to over 70.5 significant strikes in a dominant decision over here against Kwang Lee. I think we'll look back at this as, you know, debut fight. Kwang Lee came in here with a tough opponent, maybe, you know, just a little too tough, and he'll come back and get a opponent that's more on his level and he'll improve. It would suck to see him get brutally knocked out, but that's not. I'm not like putting that in the pick. Like if I thought he was gonna get brutally knocked out, I would say that I'm not gonna be biased just because he's from where I'm from. I just think the way Chris Gutierrez fights, he's not a killer. He's like more of a methodical guy, loves the leg kicks. So I think he'll cruise to a decision. If the knockout comes, it comes, but he's not stressing for it. So give me that over 70.5 significant strikes. Next up, I think this is the co-main event. No, not quite. Okay. We have Veretennikov versus Danny Barlow. I watched tape on Veretennikov. If he's one thing, he's powerful, but that's about it. You know, the grappling is mid. You know, it's not that good at all. It's there, but it's not nothing to write home about. And yeah, that's really it. I mean, Danny Barlow should go out here and knock him out and make it look easy. So give me Nikolai Veretennikov under 40.5 significant strikes. I think Barlow knocks him out before he even gets started. But just looking at his striking, he's not a very active guy on the feet. He's pretty slow, pretty plotty, and pretty stiff. So give me that. Co-main event, we got Mariscal Jackson. I got Damon Jackson under 5 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. I don't think he'll be able to apply the style that he's been doing to other people. He likes to take people down, control them. I don't think he's going to be able to do that against Chepe because Chepe's a grinder. Chepe fights the same way he does, and I think Chepe's a better grappler overall than Damon Jackson. And he actually missed weight. So I think in this matchup, Damon Jackson will gas out, and I think Damon Jackson will be able to take down Mariscal and hold him there for a significant portion of the fight. So give me Damon Jackson under 5 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. Main event. For the main event, I got Marcin Tybura over 7.5 fantasy points. This one I'm kind of iffy on. I'm not too confident I'm not as confident in this fight as I am in the other fights. But what I can say is Marcin Tybura did win their first fight, and he's fought very good competition up to this point. He's very active on the feet. He has better cardio, and in my opinion, he has the better grappling. So give me the better grappling in this matchup to over 5 rounds. I think you get a late finish. I think he's gonna knock him out in the 4th round. I just think that cardio, that 5-round experience, going the distance, more fight time. I think Spivac's a little more finish dependent. I think Tybura is a more complete fighter. He has the experience. I know he's old, but at heavyweight, 39 is not that old. So give me Tybura. That's why I say Tybura. Tybura to go out there and do what he's been doing and win. So that's all I got for y'all today. That's the breakdown. Last time we went, I think we only got 3 picks wrong, so we had a good day there. That's all I really got for y'all today. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Peace. I almost already know what it is.